Down south, hunting is more than a pastime. It's a tradition. Whether you're tucked into a pine thicket for whitetail or chasing hogs through the bottoms, Nosler Ammo offers the kind of reliable, knockdown power that earns respect season after season. Trust the name that's built a reputation on performance. Trust Nosler.
Welcome to the Southern U Podcast, brought to you by Darden Archery on the OKest Podcast Network, with your co-host Matt Brock, Jeremy Ferguson, and Taylor McMurtry. If you're looking for all things land-related in the Southeast, you came to the right place. Whether it's real estate, habitat, wildlife, or just being outdoors, this is the place for you. Welcome to the Southern U.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Southern U Podcast, where we talk all things land-related in the Southeast. I'm joined by the partner in crime, fresh out of Kansas, Mr. Jeremy Ferguson.
What's up, guys?
Tut Land Company represent.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tut Land, we got a new sponsor.
We got one.
Yep. I think we said that on the last episode. But
I
want to
think
give them
so.
a quick shout-out.
Yep.
But we certainly appreciate them. And we are not in our typical setting. You might notice there's lots of deer heads behind us here, but we are actually at Black's Deer Processing. I guess it's a Scottsboro address, but I'm calling this Grant.
Yeah, it's between Grant and it's Swearingen in here, but
right.
Most people say it's close to Grant.
Yep.
You've got a Scottsboro address.
Right. And we're joined by the owner-operator, Mr. Robby Black. You guys just hosted an event here at your place for Youth Weekend and gave away a bunch of gear, a ton of stuff to some young hunters. Man.
Yeah, with a lot of good help from a lot of people. We really appreciate all the help we got, and we couldn't have done it without y'all.
No, well, we're just glad that we were here.
Very small part.
Yes, we're glad to be here to be a part of it.
Yeah, we saw some BB guns and some, centerfire rifles and a lifetime license and
That's
tree
right.
stands.
Yeah, that lifetime license was a good thing.
Yeah,
really cool.
So great turnout. Probably one of the larger turnouts I've seen at an event like this in quite a while.
Yeah,
and this was the first year too.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Trying it out.
Not going to do anything but grow.
That's right, man. You do this thing next year, there's no telling.
Yeah, we better expand next year. It may get big.
That's it's really cool though. But yeah, I mean we're here. Wanted to be a part of that event, and Robby is not just processor. Robby and his son Tyler both. These dudes. They're hunters, man. They put some stuff on the wall, and I'll try to get some shots of this before I leave. I'm not sure if we've got it framed up right now where you can actually see what's on the wall behind us, but a lot of this stuff came from Alabama, and I know even though this is not our specialty, it's not what we made this podcast to be centered around. Right. We're not public land specialties. That was never what we designed, but these guys have actually killed a lot of these deer.
About half of our deer are probably public land, and when people say they don't have a place to hunt, there's plenty of places in Alabama to hunt. Mm-hmm. It may not be quite as good, but if you spend the time, do the homework, and do the walking, you can find the places and where you can be left alone. Yeah. Maybe spend a little more time and have success.
In other words, have a little bit of woodsmanship about you.
Yeah. The woodsmanship is something that I see here that is going away. With the baiting, people coming here, you can hunt at a shooting house with blue jeans on, but some of them come in here that hadn't even left their house.
Right.
And they can hunt over the corn. Mm-hmm. I've actually had a guy this year that's been here 6 times, and he hunts with a crossbow out of his second floor of his house in the city limits. Yeah. But he's trying to thin them out where they're overpopulated. But, yeah, the cell cameras, we all have them. I have them. I love them. But the cell cameras have took a lot of it away. And it's like when I was growing up hunting, you thought there was 200-inch deer where you hunted until you hunted there 5 years and didn't see them. So you always had high expectations. And now if you don't have a big buck on camera, you don't even want to go hunting.
Right.
So like back then, you just thought they were big ones there, just like was on TV when it first started out. You thought they were big ones there, and sometimes they were. Some of these deer here I killed, and I just hoped there was deer there, and it's real remote. Nobody hunted it much because they didn't even know there's deer there hardly. It was in the beginning when there wasn't a lot of deer there. Mm-hmm. So you got out and hunted and just hoped there was a big one, and a lot of times there was. And now, if you don't have that big one on camera, you're not going to hunt.
That's right.
And
cameras will lie to you. I'll go ahead and tell you. I mean, I've still got cameras hanging in Kansas and got buddies up there, and they're asking what I'm seeing on camera, and I'm like, well, honestly, not a lot. And they're like, well, that's cool. I just had a 140, 30 yards from the camera, and deer hadn't ever been on that camera, and so you can't rely on those things 100%. You still got to go hunt.
Yeah. A lot of times they'll fool you. They have you not wanting to hunt when there's really a big one there. I've killed one of these that I had on camera 1 year, and 2 years in a row I had it on camera and seen it. Never seen it the third year, but I killed it.
Yeah.
Never did have it on camera, and I killed it within 100 yards of a camera. So you got to remember, they're still there.
That's right.
And when they get to rutting and traveling, they could be a mile or two from where you got that camera anytime, and you could kill it.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what this particular episode is going to be about. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff here, but having somebody that has the expertise and just has the experience and put the deer on the wall like you guys have here, would like to just pick your brain about that woodsmanship. Is woodsmanship dead, or is it a lost art? Is it a dying breed of person or of hunter? And I guess what I'd kind of like for all of us to do here maybe is just kind of go down the line, define what was woodsmanship, maybe like an older definition, and how has that changed? Mm-hmm. Or is it the same? Is there any difference?
Yeah, this has probably changed a lot. As far as back when I was growing up, you had no cell cameras or anything, so you just hunted and looked for sign and listened to what the mail lady told you, or the school bus driver, or just when you rode around and looked at deer in the summertime and see them. And just by expectations, you just hoped you seen something. And hunting on where big bucks had lived in the past, we had areas that we know there was big ones there, and you just hunted because there was always big bucks there.
Right.
And some of these areas may not ever produce big ones, but some do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I mean, do you think that the evolution of things like cell cameras, but it's not just a trail camera, but now you don't even have to go into the woods and pull a card. Now you can have this stuff, just sent to your phone, and it's less invasive and more efficient. Do you think that has helped, or has that hurt overall, like just woodsmanship?
Oh, I think it's hurt it a lot because people don't have to go out and do the study and look for scrapes and rubs and learning the terrain. That's the biggest thing I've always done. It don't really matter. And I probably need a biologist's opinion on this, because a lot of places we hunt and kill big bucks, there's no buck sign. Very, very little buck sign. But if you walk that 5 or 10 miles and jump a big buck and he's there, but there's no buck sign. But with a camera, you don't have to look for any of that. You don't have to walk. You still need to, but you don't have to get out. So I think it's hurt the people's ability. The younger kids growing up, and then most of the kids I carry, you carry them to sit over a corn pile because it's easier. And I see that from a lot of people. Now, all my granddaddy and all my uncles that are gone now, that's how they hunted. They got out and hunted and bow hunted the management areas and didn't have a camera,
Right.
And they killed deer just fine. You just had to learn what a spot looked like that was going to hold deer.
You had to learn deer.
Yeah, and that's how I still like to do it. I'd rather go to the management area a lot of times and hunt where there's not as many deer and maybe not many people, is to go out here where I've got cameras and I know that I don't have a 140 buck on camera.
Right.
I know I don't. There's not one there. It could travel there, but some of these large wooded areas on the management areas, there's some big ones in there somewhere. They're few and far between.
Right.
But if you do your walking and put in some time, you can find places. It's just you got to figure out if it's worth going and doing it.
Yeah, I think it has changed a lot with technology, and more so in the younger generations. Unfortunately, they're probably learning the easy way now.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to separate that. I would say that more of these podcasts and videos on public land have brought more people onto public land, and they're having to do it in certain states, especially where you can't, use cameras and things like that. But I think there is a contingent of folks that are still out there, teaching woodsmanship, trying to learn it. But by and large, it is much less than it used to be. When I started, I was the same way. I think I hunted for 2 or 3 years before I ever killed a deer. Now, I was a kid. I killed my first deer when I was 10, first deer with a bow at 11. But we had a place that had a lot of deer, but you still had to learn deer. I picked where I wanted to hunt, even as a kid. They let me. So I'd find trails and all that, and that's just how I learned, and still doing it. But the technology has made us extremely successful on targeting individual deer, and I'm guilty of it too. I hunted one time last year, in rifle season, and then I hunted one time in bow season. Just didn't have a lot of time. And 2 hours in, I shot my target buck, on camera last year. I didn't go back in the woods.
Yeah, you didn't. No need in it.
No, Matt and I, we target individual bucks because we're trying to manage a place well. And we don't, we'll generally kill 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But that was the deer I was after. I killed him. I was done. And I was happy.
And I think it's also important to note this is private land. This is land that, we're not talking about going out and targeting a specific buck on public. Not to say that you can't do that, but that's just not what you guys are doing there.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to just ask you guys this too. Do you ever, obviously scouting is important anywhere you're going in the country, doesn't matter, Southeast, Midwest, whatever. You're looking for sign that boost your confidence that there are deer here that I want to hunt. But do you ever walk, just maybe it's like a new place, or maybe, it is somewhere like a management area, a public ground area that you haven't hunted before, but do you ever just walk, set foot on a place, put some boots on the ground, and you find a spot where you're like, I don't see a ton of sign, I'm not seeing scrapes and rubs and stuff like that, but man, this just looks deery.
Oh, yeah.
This just looks like a spot that I could just smash one right here.
And sometimes that's all it takes to make a decision. There's a place on Skyline WMA that I've been in scouting, and one day on December the 1st, 6 or 8 years ago, I went scouting and was walking property lines in a large wooded area, and was making a lot of noise. And I walked up on 2 bucks bedded down. They were getting up from the bed about 11 o'clock in the day, bright sunshine. One of them was a 9-pointer that was probably 20 inches wide, huge buck. When they walked off, I got up, I was videoing them, I walked up there to them, and there was 0 buck sign anywhere around. You would find a thumb-sized rub or maybe go off 100 yards and find a bigger rub. The only kind of buck sign that buck ever made, and he stayed there all winter, was a few scrapes. And I know you could find a few scattered rubs, but as far as finding that place tore up, he was coming through there, and only a few scrapes, and never showed himself either. But he was a real good buck, and the same day I made a big loop, walked up on 3 bucks, 0 buck sign. And I've seen a few more bucks there, and you would think there was not a deer living there. So I think with all maybe hunting pressure, and they evolve into the bucks that rub a lot maybe get killed. And the ones that don't, they survive longer. Because we hunt lots of spots that are highly pressured, I guess, and they just don't leave buck sign.
Yeah.
You just hunt off the terrain, and you see where they've been, and you just think, well, if there's does here, there'll eventually be a buck from somewhere.
Right.
And they just don't leave no clue that they're there.
Well, that's interesting, because that's a lot. I won't say a lot, but that's very similar to some of the places we hunt in the Midwest. We're hunting terrain because we know that deer, even if there's not sign there, that's where the deer they've got to come. They don't have a choice. And we're very, very successful in those. One stand I can think of, I've killed 2 upper 140s class deer out of it, and we've killed 2 booners and a 160-inch deer out of it in the last 5 years. But they're forced. Now, they may miss you by 30 yards, but if you're you hang in there and you're paying attention, you set controls right and all that, you can get by with them coming by you. But by and large, we kill deer on the first set in those stands.
Oh, yeah.
When those deer are, we know they should be working through there the right weather conditions.
Yeah, the deer I killed in Illinois a week or so ago, it was I was just hunting a terrain feature. I wasn't looking for sign. I know there were big bucks in the area. It was only a few hundred yards from where we'd seen deer, and I didn't even look for a rub, but I did see a few. No scrapes that I seen. I didn't walk the area stinking it up. I just hunted that terrain feature and seen several bucks and killed one. Because you spend a couple of days, you can figure out whether they're using it.
That's right.
And even if they're not, that third day they may be there.
Yep. And that's part of what we're talking about, learning sign. Learning travel.
Yeah.
That comes from time in the woods, or some people it comes because somebody just showed you, hey, go right there.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my thing. Is like, I think it doesn't take like a tremendous amount of experience to identify that's a rub, that's a scrape. I think there's deer in here. Maybe there's droppings. There's popped acorn holes in that right time of the year. Like, okay, that's not necessarily super difficult, I don't think. But where I think kind of the woodsmanship, the guys that are really good at that kind of stuff, is they hunt where they like you said, deer almost have to be here. I know I'm not seeing a ton of sign, but the terrain and everything is coming together right here where, like, the deer have got to come through here eventually. I may not be there when it happens, but I think, like, that is a scenario where boots on the ground can trump a camera.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what I mean? Cameras are great, and I'm going to use them until they say we can't. But
they're going to miss a lot of deer.
Yeah, I mean, just because that deer doesn't walk in front of your camera doesn't mean it's not there.
Right.
And so I think the guys that are able to look at like a terrain feature or look at something and go, man, this looks deery. This is they're going to come through here at some point.
That stand I was talking about in Kansas, there's never rubs in there. Never.
Yeah.
But there's always, under one tree, there's always a monster scrape. And the reason we figured this out, we had a stand in there for years and never really killed much out of it. Had some deer shot at, but they were, a little too far and missed. And, we killed a couple out of there. But I sat in there with Trey, one of the guys that used to work with me some. And, we were filming and hunting. And we just kept seeing these deer work the same trail. I'm like, okay, we got to move over there. I mean, immediately. The first time we had a stand there, I killed the first, upper 140s. The next time somebody sat it, it was a booner. It was just, I think it was 172. The next time it was hunted, I killed, these are different years. I killed another, mid 140s class deer. And we killed another deer out of it that year. And I think that one was the one that was in the 160s. The only time I've ever sat that stand and not killed a deer was last year when Joe Lindsay killed that 181.
Right.
And I had that deer all over me. I've got video of him for 25 minutes and just terrible circumstances. I couldn't make him dead.
Right.
I mean, it was limbs. He was facing me as away. Facing away or facing dead at me. I'm just not going to take a marginal shot. Some people will. I'm not. I didn't. I sat Joe in there. He killed it on first, his first set. So hunting smart, learning deer, learning how they travel, where they travel, and everywhere is going to be different. And you've got to figure that out. You'll get guys, like yourself, that you've got these lands around here figured out pretty good. We may drop you off in the southeast Alabama swamps
and be lost.
And you may be lost.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like me. I grew up hunting up here in Skyline and the whole nine, and I'm used to hunting these mountain deer, and they can be tough. There's also places that you figure it out. Hey, these deer have to use this right here.
Yeah.
If they want to get from point A to point B, which that's what they're doing, they're going from bed to food. They don't have a choice but to come right through this 100 to 200 acres or 200 yard stretch. You just got to figure out exactly where it is.
And that's what makes it so hard on some of the areas in the mountains of northeast Alabama. They don't have any certain direction they have to go. The only thing you use there is just very steep terrain, gullies that come down that they have to go around, and sometimes they don't have to go around and they can go, but they take the easier way. And it makes it a lot harder. If they have a steep area, they'll have to go around it. That's the only thing that restricts them in the big, we got 5,000 acres. They just go wherever they want to.
And deer are lazy.
Yeah.
They're going to take the path of least resistance, generally, unless they're really, really overly pressured.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that there are areas, just like you said, northeast Alabama, that are tremendously steep terrain, crazy, extreme topography, and there's places that don't. You have, and they're like next to each other. There'll be like places along, just say the Paint Rock River, where you've got flat as a pancake until you hit a mountain that goes up in elevation by whatever, 600 feet, or whatever.
And a lot of times in the steep terrain, they use the terrain features for cover for traveling too, in the bed. And if there's a real steep area, most time a person is not going to walk down through there or walk up it, so they feel safer hanging in that area while somebody else is walking on the flat up above them. And so I've used the real steep benches that drop off so steep you can't hardly walk. If you're up above them, they walk through it and you don't see them.
Right.
So I've noticed they use that, and where they don't have thick cover and don't have a lot of rocks, they use the steep terrain to hide and to travel in. And it makes it rough on us, but they can get there with no problem.
No doubt. I mean, let's, I guess, kind of further going down this road of just general woodsmanship. We've talked about terrain. We've talked about scouting for rubs, scrapes, drop-ins, that kind of stuff. Let's talk food for a minute. Do you place more emphasis when you're going to the woods on travel and kind of deer going to and from, or are you looking more towards, I want to hunt a deer over a food source?
Probably the traveling more, because the food's good if you find it and they're there real good, but also if you spook them going in and going out, sometimes travel corridor is better because you just catch them passing through. If they're going to be somewhere that time of day coming through there, you can wait on them. But if you're in that feeding area, you're a lot more likely to spook them, leave scent, and they know you've been there the next day. You sort of got to look ahead. If you go hunt there a lot, you got to look how it's going to affect next week and the next, as you go in. I'm guilty of that now, trying to hunt the easy way and go in there, not be so careful. And but if you can hunt the travel corridors, I think. Of course, we all like to find a good white oak tree that you're feeding on real good. It's hard not to get up one. But if you find that bench that they're coming around, or a creek or a ditch that they're crossing to get to there, that pinches them down probably a lot better.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you look when the leaves fall and just stand back and look at them features and see, hey, wherever you would walk, because most time when you walk around a mountain, you'll realize later that you're on a logging road. The easiest way to get around that mountain, the loggers used it and the deer use it too. And so sometimes that creates, travel areas.
Yep, absolutely. That's why, and this is getting way off the subject, but that's why we talk so much about how good logging activity can be for a property. Not just habitat, but ingress, egress. Travel corridors and giving you access to properties. And, I've got a client here on the mountain that he's totally adverse to cutting timber. And it's the only thing that he needs to do to improve, because he's done everything else. He just needs to cut some timber.
Yeah, I mean, I think, too, one thing it took me a long time to, I won't say wrap my head around, but just to accept, I guess. I really want to, early on, I really, really wanted to focus on trying to hunt over some kind of food source. I'm like, deer got to eat. They have to eat. So if you're there, wherever they're trying to eat, there's your opportunity. But as I've kind of gotten older, I've started to look more at the terrain and more at the more travel patterns, because that food may be here now. Give it a month, and whatever was dropping in here, hard mast or soft mast or whatever, is now gone. And if that's gone, well, that spot that you're hunting is, and not that it's useless,
no longer good.
It's no longer good, but that travel corridor is.
It's still good.
It's going to be good whenever. And so it's like trying to make myself not hunt over food is harder than it sounds. Like it's harder than it should be.
And everybody wants to go to a new spot or something and find a food plot or a feeding area. That's the easiest place to go to. And if you're not going to hunt there a lot, but if you're going to hunt there a lot, you probably need to look for other areas that are back that cut them off before they get there. Because, that food plot's also going to attract a lot of other visitors too.
Well, and it's like, when you hunt a travel corridor, that deer's going to come through, or deer, however many, they may come through in one pass and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And so it's like you've got to have your head on a swivel and really pay
Oh,
attention, be ready for them. Whereas if it's just a food source, hey, they're showing up and hopefully they're working their way to me.
Yeah.
They're going to linger and kind of hang out for a while instead of passing through and now they're gone.
Yep.
It's like, well, there went my opportunity.
But also, I've noticed when they're on that food source food plot, they're jumping. If you got 6 or 8 deer, I had some this year, and I just give up on trying to shoot because there were so many and looking. And
Especially
if you have
big
one
old
come
does.
traveling through that travel area, he's not looking for anything. He's not to the dangerous area yet.
Right.
And it's a lot easier to get a shot if you can.
Well, and that type of response from a deer, just tells you how pressured they are on food sources. Yeah. And I have totally switched how I hunt, and based off of where I am, what type of property, whether or not it's pressured. Mm-hmm. If I know it's heavily pressured, I am not sitting on a food source because I'm not going to see a deer unless it's dark.
There was a time back in the had to be the early 2000s, I could go to Little River Management Area and get over there, and I could see 5 to 7 does every food plot I went to every time. And I killed a few, but they were so jumpy, but they were, they didn't have a lot of acorns that year evidently. And they were, it was before all the doe days took place, and it was fun because there was a lot of deer. Every time you went, I could take Tyler when he was little and sit him beside me. We'd sit on the ground a lot of times because there wasn't trees, a lot of cutover around, and the deer were coming. And now it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They know what's up.
They do. We preach it. These days you can spend all the money you want to spend on buying a multi-million-dollar property. You can do all the improvements you want to do, or you can go hunt public land, and all you got is the cost of your license and getting yourself there in gear. And if you're hunting an overpressured place, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah,
it don't matter if it's 2,000 acres of well-managed private ground. If it's overpressured or pressured in the wrong way, you're gonna have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I killed my first deer in 1982, and when I was 11 years old, and I had a 30-30 with no scope and nothing else. Probably wore tennis shoes hunting.
Yeah.
I killed my 169 when I was in 1997. And I still didn't have much more, a tree stand. I didn't hunt out of a tree stand when I killed it. Didn't have a grunt call with me. Didn't have anything. And I killed some deer like that. And now you have all the technology advances, and it's still hard to do that because everybody has it.
Yep.
So then you just depended on woodsmanship and stuff, and you didn't have to have a tree stand. Sometimes I still love hunting on the ground because you can slip in there closer to them and not be spotted or alert them. And that's why sometimes, I look up to somebody like Justin Gondola shooting a longbow.
Oh, yeah.
Because just go back and do it the simple way and don't have all the fancy stuff and lower your expectations a little bit maybe and have more fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I say it all the time, man. Why do any of us do this? It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And when it stops becoming fun, I won't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I hunt
that's the only reason that any of us got into it in the first place.
When I hunt with my gun for a couple months and quit not seeing any big ones, I'll carry my bow just because that smaller buck that I wouldn't shoot, I'll take my bow and take a chance. Mm-hmm. It's a lot funner. Then I start having fun again.
Right.
But, when you don't have a real big buck there, carrying a gun is really useless. You carry that bow and have some fun and feel like you've accomplished something.
That's right. No doubt. Well, I think this is something that, especially having you here, I know your son does taxidermy, and you obviously are processing a lot of deer and those sort of things, so we'll get into some of that. But I was wanting to ask you, let's just say that somebody is successful, and they bring a deer in, whether that's just for meat or if maybe they have something they want to put on the wall. I think part of the woodsmanship thing is knowing what to do with that animal and making sure that you can maximize obviously the yield that you get for the meat, but making sure that you don't butcher up that that cape so bad.
I've seen that a lot and posted videos of what a gutting job is supposed to be like, and some people want to do it the way they want to do it anyway. And but I recommend not cutting them down through the hindquarters and exposing all the meat. And if it's gut shot, it gets contaminated. Don't split the brisket. I know it does air it out better, but you can cut some hide off that's not going to affect the meat. And just to keep it clean, because you get it contaminated, you're going to have to throw it away. And you don't need a big knife. You need just a smaller knife, and just be careful. Get all the guts out without busting them. And we can keep them so much cleaner here, but a person don't need to leave it for hours and hours in this hot weather before they gut it.
Sure.
So I always gut mine before I drag them. I'm not going to drag them unless it's downhill to get them out of that area. But normally I just gut them where I kill them. Mm-hmm. And because you done got the one you want there, you're probably not going to go back for a few days. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, taking care of it before they get it here is a big thing. Keep it cool. Keep it clean. Don't haul it around all day. And we can do a lot better job with it.
Sure.
And I really see an increase on the yield on it.
Yeah. And so, like, and you said, like, where would you stop when you're gutting one? Assuming you're going to take it to a taxidermist and get it mounted, where do you want to stop your incision on that belly?
Just stop at the brisket there. When you hit bone, just stop. And I have had them to split them all the way up through the neck and still want it, and it's just too late then.
Yeah.
Split it to the brisket, down to the straddle, leave a small incision about like that, and just reach in there and get it out. And, yeah, don't cut them rib bones, because then the taxidermist is not going to be happy.
Right.
And but, yeah, that means a lot. When they take care of it, they do their part, and we can do our part when it gets here.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to expand on that a little bit because we talked about it earlier. I've heard it and probably been guilty of it when I was a younger fella, not really
Oh, yeah,
thinking.
we all were.
And I thought, you got to have the biggest gun that you can shoot to kill stuff. But when you ask a processor why you didn't get as much meat as you thought you did when you shot a 90-pound doe through the front shoulders with a 300 mag.
Oh, yeah.
You ruin all that.
It's devastating, especially with 300 Magnum. I mean, a lot of them. It don't matter
a lot of
what
these
caliber.
big guns, yep.
Quarter and tore them or something through the front shoulders, out the guts, the hindquarters. You get them shot 3 or 4 times. It destroys it. Because even if you have a deer shot in the head, you're probably only going to get 35 to 40% yield, maybe. Mm-hmm. If you shoot it in the shoulder, blow, it's a large area that's bloodshot. Yep. It's not just where the bullet hole is. Sometimes the whole front end is not worth saving. But you're going to drop down to 25 to 30% probably.
Yeah. Well,
and that's with just one shot.
How much, what percentage of the body weight is gone from the guts either.
Yeah.
That's anywhere from 25 to typically 35% right there, just off the top.
And we say normally a field-dressed deer, we'll probably get about 30 to 35% yield after it's gutted, that field-dressed weight. And so you get about that 35%, sometimes more.
So 120-pound doe, you start taking away 20%, then 30%.
Yeah.
That's getting down there.
You've
got to realize that, yes, you can feed your family on this, but if you're trying to feed it off of one deer, one, it's not going to be cheaper than beef.
No.
Because everything else that goes into it.
Yeah, you're not.
And two, you can't do it on one deer. You're going to have to shoot several deer.
Yeah, that's not an excuse saying you're feeding your family you don't have the money, because it's going to cost you more money.
That's it. It's the most expensive cheap meat, free meat out there,
There's other reasons we're doing it, but it is a good reason to get that meat.
Oh, absolutely.
And, we try to take the best care of it we can. We'd never take anybody's meat because we don't need any more. We have so many people to leave them, donate them.
That's right.
We give deer meat away all the time because we don't need it all.
It's always been funny to me. People would gripe, on the processor, say, I know they're selling our meat, and I'm like, you guys have no idea what's going into this.
Yeah.
Now, has somebody done it? Yeah, I'm sure they have.
I've heard these stories of other processors I've used in the past, and people would say the only problem I had is they took my deer meat. They took some of my deer meat, and I said, and he told me that, look, we have never took anybody's meat. We don't want it. We have a freezer full. We don't have room for it. I've got all I need. I have people. I probably had 25 deer donated last year. Mm-hmm. So, there's needy families that need it, or
absolutely,
we can use it for summer sausage or whatever we want it for.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty.
Yeah, and I wish more processors, would take the route of donations. There's some, manpower's expensive, equipment's expensive, everything's expensive these days. But I remember working, back when we were all working with the state and we were shooting deer for other, research purposes. We killed a lot of deer. I mean, a lot of deer. And we only had 1 or 2 guys that would actually take those deer and process them and donate them. Now, we got funds to help, but they were donating a lot of their time to do that. and fed a lot of people. And now we have started seeing pushback from entities that really need the food banks, churches, things like that. They're like, oh no, we're not going to take deer. We're against killing, deer.
Yeah.
We're going to make somebody mad that we're feeding them deer because they're killing some. I'm like, well, we killed that cow.
Yeah.
It was standing out there in my yard. And and it's named.
Yeah. So that's worse. Yeah, we have some churches and different things that we work with. They'll come buy them. They just, they'll bring some and, take any leftovers we have. Mm-hmm. And, some people with some of the scraps go to dog food. Mm-hmm. So we sell the hides. People get the feet. Not much of it goes to waste.
Yeah.
I remember when we could, just make a phone call and they'd come snatch a deer out of the bed of your truck. Now you make a phone call and they go, was it gutted? Yeah. Is it cut up?
Yeah.
What do we got to do with it? I'm like, do you want it or not?
Yeah.
It's free. A lot of them don't want it anymore.
Yeah. I used to have people that I worked with that would want a deer, and they would say, when you shoot it, call me and I'll come help you. And I would call them, and they would come help me drag it. But I don't see that a lot.
No.
Let me ask you another question on how you handle the meat. I've got a lot of guys that they like to cut their meat up and then take it to a processor, and some require it. There's a guy locally for me.
He's shaking his head already.
Yeah, I don't like that.
He requires it. And my main question is, if you do that, how do you need to handle that meat? Because I get people that say, man, you got to soak it in water. You got to do all this. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, don't soak it in water.
If I'm cutting mine up for some reason, it is laid on top of ice. It is not going to be in water for any purpose.
I recommend them to leave the drain plug out, put it on top of the ice or in a bag or something, but it don't need to stay in a bag too long. It'll sour. But the main thing is they sort of need to know how to cut it up a little bit, because I have people bringing them, and I say as long as it's clean, because I'll charge a cleanup fee.
Right.
And they'll say it's clean, but they killed elk in Colorado and deboned it. And they didn't take a tarp. And we've had some that I've had to call them and tell them, look, I can't. You're going to get about 10 or 20% of what you brought. It's just terrible. Now, the main thing is probably watch some videos, learn how to quarter one up halfway decent. Just take a tarp. We'll take a 3-foot tarp, Colorado, or wherever, to Skyline, quarter a deer up on it, and you get a little hair on it, but keep the dirt and the leaves off of it. I had rather have the whole deer, because even the cooler deer, I have to have a place to lay that meat out and let it dry. That takes shelves, and we don't have much of that, because you don't want it soaking in that water for days, and it's slimy. It makes a big mess, and it don't last as long as they think it will sometimes when they bring it. And but I had rather have a whole deer.
Yeah.
But I understand people hunting out of state and have to debone it, or hunting South Alabama and it's hot. So if they just take the time to keep it clean, if you feel through there, you can separate the muscles almost with your fingers. If you'll just separate them and keep the hair and dirt off of it to a certain level, Well,
we were cleaning some up in Kansas, and a friend of mine that's been, I think Bob said he was 67 or 68, and we were cleaning a deer, up there, deboning all that. He's like, I've never deboned deer. He said, this is not what we do.
Yeah.
To get it back, it's what you got to do. And I was deboning it, and like you said, I was running my fingers, and he's like, man, that's not how, I would have thought you would have done that. I thought you just cut that. I said, oh, no. I said, if you'll cut these muscle groups out, it's way easier.
Yeah, there's a layer of meat, muscle about that thick over everything that holds it together. And when you cut through that, there it is. It just separates. And you just follow the contour of that. And it's pretty easy.
Yeah. But there's some great videos. Might as well give them a shout out. Don't know who they are, anything, but the Bearded Butcher.
The Bearded Butcher. Yeah, that's who I watched.
They are great. I have watched their stuff, and I'm like, well, I've been doing this a long time, and I'm pretty good at it, but that I have never thought of.
Yeah.
A couple things, and take notes.
Yeah, I have heard everybody, oh man, you want that gaminess to stay out of your meat, you got to soak it in salt water. You got to soak it in buttermilk. You've got to, and I'm just like, I'm not saying that stuff doesn't work. Essentially, salt water is essentially a brine. Like you do anything else, like a turkey for Thanksgiving or whatever. But I'm just like, the thought of me taking a ribeye and soaking it in salt water for 4 days, that sounds disgusting.
Well, people are trying to take the deer meat taste out of deer meat and turn it into beef. it's not going to happen.
No.
Eat the deer for what it is. It's deer.
Yep.
Seems like we found, of course, cooler space is part of it. We can't hang them forever, but if somebody wants one deer hung, we can just go around it and let it hang 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like 3 to 5 days is about right.
Yeah.
It's plenty of time. Dries them out a little, but if you let them hang 14 days, they turn black.
Skin
you
on.
lose a lot of meat
that.
off of it.
Yeah.
Now,
And
do you let those hang like that 14 days with skin on or off?
with the skin off.
Off, okay.
And
Yeah.
that's how we do them, and that's not good. It'd be better with it on probably.
Okay.
But we skin them first, and that's a long time. You lose a
Yeah.
lot of meat, and they don't look so good.
Yep.
But 3 to 5 days, and sometimes 7. If this time of the year we're slow, we'll let them go till the next week. About
Yep.
7 days is good.
Yeah.
When we're in the Midwest and it's cold enough, we'll hang them in the barn for 3 days.
Yeah.
We'll skin them, let them hang there for 3 days. And I was going to say that about keeping them clean. Of course, we bring them out of the woods. Where we're at in the Midwest, we can get side-by-sides to most everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they go from gutted to picked up, put in the side-by-side to the barn, and then we'll let them hang there overnight. And then the next day, cutting the hide off is easy at that point
Yeah.
after it's hung there a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then we'll let it hang there 2 more days. And after it's hung there and kind of created that film, things have hardened up on the outside, you could roll those things around in the dirt,
And they
and
won't
they're
get
not going
dirty.
to hold it.
Yeah.
So we'll mess with it then and cut it all up, and it just makes things easier on us. But, up there right now, I think it's as warm as it is here. I think they're
it's
in
hot.
the upper 60s or low 70s. So
you can't
do
hang 'em.
that.
Yep.
It does help if it's cool enough. You can hang them. Like if you kill one on public land and can't get to it, and you can leave
Yeah.
it till the next day. If the coyotes don't find it first.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've had that problem in Illinois this year, and had it at Skyline where I killed one way off by myself and had to go back, and it got eat up.
Yep.
But that's the only couple times we've had it happen.
No doubt. Well, so I know that, like, obviously you're a processor, so I'm not asking you to, like, cut your own throat here. But for the guys that are trying to do some of this stuff themselves or trying to do some stuff at home, some of them, have invested in a grinder,
Yeah.
or some of them have invested in even a slicer or something
Yeah.
like that. I have a slicer. I don't have a grinder at home. But generally speaking, if I take a deer to a processor, I will tell them I want everything sliced that can be sliced into steaks
Yeah.
that possible. Like, I want as many as you can possibly give me, and then everything else grind it up into burger, or just kind of grind. Do you see a lot of that, or are people asking more for like snack sticks and summer sausage and that sort of stuff? Like, what are they?
It
What's
just
the
varies.
demand?
A lot of people want all ground meat. They use it for so many different things. A lot of them they want the whole deer in cube steak, and you can't do that. But some of them want all they can get cubed and sliced, and the rest of it ground. Some of them want the whole deer done in snack sticks or summer sausage, which gets a little expensive. But
yeah.
they'll go ahead and do it one time, get it over with. They have it for the rest of the year. They don't need any more. But yeah, a lot of people, they do it. And like I said, we hang it 3 to 5 days, and they'll say that's the best deer meat they've ever eaten. What do y'all do different? It's like, I don't know what we do. We just do it the same. We take care of it to the best of our ability and keep it clean and cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Our skinning room stays 40 to 45 degrees, so when a person brings one in at 1 o'clock at night, it's cool in there. It's not sitting outside. It stays
Right.
cool. They're skinned the next day and put in the cooler so they stay cool, and that helps.
Off the wall question, and this is, unless y'all track it, you don't really know, but just kind of an anecdotal gut feeling. What percentage of deer coming in to you now are dropping corn?
Oh, a high percentage. I don't know how high, but I do a lot of draining and stopping, and it's not just from corn, but there's probably a lot of it in the system.
Yeah.
It's if they're gut shot, there's corn falling out.
Yeah. I figured.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. I don't know what the percentage would be, but even if killed on the management area, they're going somewhere and finding corn.
Oh, yeah.
And so you might want to hunt that travel corridor to that corn pile.
That's
You're legal. But, yeah, there's a high percentage of the corn. And, I've thought in the past that all that had took a bad toll on our deer herd, till you get a year where there's not acorns, and then there's the numbers again.
I think Matt sent us a text today, that he was, or maybe last night, that he was looking at deer harvest totals for the state, and to whatever day it was, I think it was yesterday, that we were like 10,000 deer behind.
I wouldn't doubt
year.
it because.
But we've had a tremendous acorn crop this year.
Yeah, a lot of acorns, and
to me
last year
that says woodsmanship.
Oh, last year, see, we went
everybody
from
sitting on green fields.
the year before we went down to 850 deer. Last year we done 1,300.
Yeah.
We had been up to 1,100 somewhere in there, 1,150. Went down to 800, so I thought, this has done it. The numbers are getting lower, and then last year back up to nearly 1,300 because there was no food.
Right.
So this year, I'm sure that knocked the numbers down. Now there's food. It's going to be a little bit lower, but the only way I keep the numbers up, and it's hard to tell, is just continually getting more business. So I'm dealing with more and more people each year. So if the numbers even go down of the deer harvest, I'm still getting.
You don't notice.
Still getting, but when we have them really good years, you pay for it. And that has hurt my hunting a lot. When you get busy, that's the best time to hunt. And so when you have a slow time of the year, it's not good hunting. So you have to find another area like Little River.
Yeah.
Bankhead, somewhere in them areas that are rutting at different times so you can get freed up and go hunt, or Illinois.
Yeah.
You go there during the slow time because when our biggest time probably is, it picks up at Christmas and really picks up more New Year's, but usually the third week of January here is the busiest time.
Yeah. And that sounds right. I mean, that coincides when our deer are rutting for the most part.
We can track, like Stevenson and some of them areas that start in early December.
A little early, yep.
Some of Skyline mid to late December, and some of it even later. But right here in Marshall County, third or fourth weekend week of January probably, even into February. But you can see it moving. Like when the deer comes in, it'll be Gunnersville, Claysville, Union Grove. Before that, it's Stevenson, and there won't be no deers coming from.
It's funny how you can track that, but that's exactly right. Just from the conception surveys that we did for years, we've got, the state of Alabama has actually a phenomenal rut map, and people can argue with it all they want. Look, gradient maps are hard to read.
They are.
They're not, they're not perfect, but they give you a real good representation. And, thousands of deer, went into building that map.
Yeah.
So,
no doubt.
And it's pretty accurate because I've hunted the different areas, some of them, and, it's pretty close. I'm sure you're going to have some that are different.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have outliers.
And the rut's spread out so much you can't tell because your neighbor will tell you the rut was a month later than what you thought it was because he's seen a deer chasing.
I'm gonna break some of these guys' hearts out there that the rut's early or the rut's late. The rut ain't early and the rut ain't late. You just ain't there. Or
high temps like right now when it's hot, man, you won't see deer.
I mean, all the conception surveys we've done for years in the state of Alabama. I mean, I think it was in the 90-something percentile where those deer came into estrus in that period when we were doing the studies within a 48-hour window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's tight.
And that and. The cold weather don't make the rut start, but it does help. It makes movement.
Well, you see the movement during daylight hours because they're not burning up, chasing.
But sometimes, like we was talking here, when you have those extreme cold times where it barely gets out of the teens or in the 20s for the highs for several days, I just stay in the bed on them days.
Too.
Because I've had periods here for a 5-day period where we didn't get a single deer. And the first day that it got up into the 30s or 40s, we started getting deer again. And it just slows them down. I guess they know warm weather is going to come eventually.
That's right. These days, and we don't get many of them down here that's single digits, 10 or below, obviously single digits.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't.
We don't see deer move that much during that period.
And because it doesn't last long.
Right.
I mean, you may have something blow through here, and for 3, 4, 5 days it's nice and cold, but then it's going back up.
Yep.
And I agree. I did want to ask you one thing, jumping back to the processor stuff. Say that somebody does shoot a deer and maybe they mess up the skinning job or something or the gut job or something. They do get leaves or just debris on the outside of that meat stuck to it. are you an advocate of like spraying them down with a water hose, or you like never ever get them wet?
Well, you could before the hides took off, because if you spray it down after the hides took off, you're spreading that contamination all over the deer. But if you don't overcut the hindquarters and overcut it up here, you're not really contaminating anything that's good anyway. So, yeah, you could spray it out, but those guts don't come off very well, you know. And if we skin that deer, anything you spray on it contaminates the rest of the deer. So it's really, the water hose don't do a whole lot of good. And we use warm water to do it with, too. It gets it off a little better. But, yeah, I say if you've got it at home and it's going to be a while before you bring it, you can spray the rib cage out, because that don't contaminate meat that you're going to use.
Right.
As long as you don't overcut the hindquarters, that's where, that's where the best meat is.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if you contaminate that, you've wasted a lot of meat.
Gotcha.
Well, and when we're in the woods, sometimes it's dark when you're gutting deer and you try and do the best you can. You
That's
slip
that's
up.
what I mean. Yeah.
That's not going to turn out good anyway.
That's right. And what we do, if we spill a little bit of gut, we immediately, bottled water, whatever, we wash it off, and then we cut that out.
Yeah,
we cut a little sliver out, and we lost that, but we don't want that sitting there.
Yeah, if you could cut it off, that would be good. If we ever pack out a deer or elk, that's the first thing you want to do. If you got anything that's not very good right there, you want to throw it away so you don't have to tote it out.
Right.
There's no need in toting it out and cleaning it later.
Yep.
So you tote anything contaminated out, cut it out and throw it away, and you got good clean meat.
Yep.
But, yeah, I would recommend cutting that spot off if you can.
Yep.
And go ahead and waste it then so it don't seep in there and
That's it.
contaminate the rest of it.
No doubt. Well, I know that we're kind of getting towards the end, wrapping up here, but we've talked a lot about woodsmanship and just how to read, topography, how to read the land, scout, all those sort of things that feel like make, somebody an experienced woodsman and a successful one. What do you think we can do, I guess, moving forward for like future generations to kind of help steward that spirit of woodsmanship so that it doesn't get lost?
Yeah, maybe just show our kids, take them out there to the WMAs where you can't bait, or if you have a hunting club, just take them and show them the old way of hunting, to look for sign, and and they'll take that up instead of hunting over the corn, and just hunt like hunting should be. There's nothing wrong with hunting over corn. We all do it some.
Yeah. Sure.
But knowing how to hunt those areas without corn, because some people would probably think if there's not a corn pile there, there's no need in hunting.
Right.
It's useless. And it is easy to do that when you get used to seeing them come to it. You don't have any. You think, I don't need to go. Mm-hmm. But, main thing is taking the kids and teach them these, like Justin Gondola was showing them the long bows.
Yeah.
Teach them, get them interested in that type of hunting, and they don't want to hunt over corn then.
Right.
They're hunting the old school way and just having more fun. And even the cameras, you get your expectations. If you don't have a big buck, you won't even want to go hunting. So if you don't have that, you'll just go out there and hunt and have fun and be happy. If you do see a big one, you're really excited because you may not have known that deer was there. Mm-hmm. But I think the cameras, you're disappointed if you don't see it now because you know he's there, and you're going to be disappointed if you don't see him. Yep. So I guess the main thing would be to get the kids out there and show them the way to hunt. The woodsmanship, let them see and teach them how to gut deer. How to gut them. I see people come in here that are complaining about how rough of a drag it was, and they didn't gut their deer. And I would never drag a deer very far without gutting it because it's a third of the body weight.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint about the SOA hunts, man. They want you to have live weight.
Live weight.
Oh, gosh, man, that's awful.
Just use that formula, ain't it? 1.26 times, or they want the actual.
They want the actual.
They want the actual. And look, I worked there, and we argued about that when we were there. There's really no need in how they handle that, and they can get mad at me if they want to, but they're wrong because it's not doing anything for them.
No, I mean,
except for making it harder on the hunter and the mentor or whoever's with them, on the mentored hunts to get the deer out.
Yeah, that's right.
But talking about woodsmanship, I raised Tyler up and Jared both, hunting on the WMAs. Tyler killed his first buck, a spike on a skyline with a SKS, and a no scope. But he learned how to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
And he can kill them better than I can up there probably because he's young now, and I'm not going to get out there and go like I used to. But yeah, him and Jared both have killed some good ones on the WMAs, and getting out there and doing it the hard way.
Yep.
You know, never seen this deer. You just hunted
That's
it
it.
and killed it. And yeah, I raised them up hunting like that, and that's the thing we're going to do with Cooper. You know, my grandson is we're going to make him, after he's killed a few now, he's going to go to Skyline and kill a deer.
Yeah.
It may not be a buck, but he's going to go up there, kill a deer, and see what it's like.
See how hard it can
To
be.
have to walk a little
Yep.
ways and no corn and maybe get up a tree stand and see how much harder it is. And, you know, I know you could go around here to places you kill 10 deer to one up there, but it's still nice. When you
Absolutely.
go up there and kill one with a bow, you've done a little something. Even if it's a doe, you've accomplished
There's no
something.
question.
Absolutely.
There's a reason I don't have that lease up there
I,
anymore.
I have went from had years where I killed 5 up there in 1 year with a bow. Then I went 5 years without killing one.
Right.
It's
You
hard.
know, but most of that, the real good luck was right after the Mansmere got it, and it wasn't depleted yet.
Yeah.
The numbers were still real high, and if we'd known how to hunt that area, there's no telling what we could have killed. But it went. Now the deer numbers are back down.
They
to like
are.
the Mansmere.
Yep. And the one thing that we've tried to preach up here, at least I have, with deer densities, you know, up here on the Cumberland Plateau and these close canopy hardwoods, our recruitment rate is not what it is in the lowlands.
Yeah.
You know, these pine belts and all that. You know, down south of here, the recruitment rate is close to a fawn and a half. I think it ended up like 1.6 is what's recruited in the population. And up here on the Cumberland, it's below 1. So every doe is – not even every doe is producing a fawn that's being recruited into the system. So doe harvest and deer harvest can be detrimental up here if you don't pay attention to what you're doing.
It should be a little different, especially the 10 days in February. You know, areas like this it's just puts more damage on them.
It does.
Some of the areas in South Alabama can handle that probably, but up here,
Absolutely.
our deer are pushed to the limit so bad already that recruitment rates less. Yeah, it's just hard for them to recover from all of it.
For sure. Well, Robbie, I think that's pretty much going to wrap us up for this episode. But I just want to commend you just for doing this event and having all these young hunters out here. You know, many of them may have hunted for the very first time today. You know.
Oh yeah.
I think I saw somebody that had killed their first deer, 2 or 3 of them.
They have, yeah. I don't know if it was their first. I believe it was. Some of them had blood on their face.
Especially was their first deer, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
Really cool. And I think that kind of goes a long way with trying to steward on woodsmanship and pass that on down. And having events like this are very important.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to kind of be a part of that.
Yeah, and I really appreciate all the people that helped because it had been hard to do it, alone. A lot of different people stepped up and helped and donated.
I saw a lot of
different
we
had
names.
Really almost too much stuff. It took forever to give it all away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think
we
every
could
kid
we
came
could have
through
put half
2
of it up
times.
and had another one.
Yeah.
But, it's a good thing. And it's like my niece. She don't come from a hunting family other than me, and this is on the second time, I believe the second time she's ever been. She killed one last year and almost did today. And she loves it,
That's awesome.
She so getting them, her mother is not really for hunting very much, but she gave in and realized that it's better than doing other things, and she let her go, and she loves it. You know?
For any of the parents out there that's against hunting, man, you got to think about getting kids outside versus behind the screen.
Yeah.
There's so much to life that you can learn, even if you get out to hunt and decide hunting's not for you. Just be outside.
There's other stuff to do. You can shoot skeet or shoot a bow and arrow and don't have to hunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
can get education paid for that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and hunting families, like when I was growing up, my granddaddy, my daddy, all my uncles hunted, and now they're all gone, and it's down to me, and Tyler and Jared to bring that up, and it's getting smaller. If you're not careful, it'll be gone.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
They're after our rights every day.
Yeah. So if you can introduce a kid that don't hunt, one of the kids that went with me today, his daddy is a fisherman. He's a guide and fished the Bassmasters for years, and he don't deer hunt very little. And that boy has killed a deer, but he went today and he shot the deer that we've got to go back and look for.
Gotcha.
And he had a ball. But, you know, I'll carry him when I can just to keep that going. You know, he'll probably be a hunter for life now.
Yep. For sure.
So I recommend anybody, if you don't have a kid, you can find a kid. There's somebody in a family or somebody you know that you could carry and make a difference in that kid's life because, you know, they just never knew they liked hunting.
Yep.
My niece never knows. She just started noticing us and wanted to go and realized that she liked it.
Well, I've got a buddy that graduated high school with me that reached out last year and didn't have time to get everything in order to get a license and all that, but he's going to get his hunter safety course done, and I'm going to take him hunting for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally on his bucket list of things to do, and he's my age, and nobody's ever offered to take him, which is awful.
You know, I never want to brag about how many deer you kill with a gun because you can kill an endless amount if you've got a decent spot with a corn and stuff. With a bow is a little bit different, you know. I've killed several of the bow, not some of the old timers I've seen at Skyline and stuff that killed 150
Right.
and killed that many. I killed number 51 the other day.
That's awesome.
And but what I would brag about is carrying kids. I think I have carried 7, not just kids, you know, grown-ups that didn't hunt. I've carried 7 or 8 different people to kill their first deer or turkey, one of them a turkey, that had hunted very little or hadn't hunted and killed their first deer, you know. And that's what I wish a lot of people would do, just to get them, teach them the right way to do it, you know, follow the law and do it the right way.
Right.
That's it.
Well, that's cool, man. Thank you so much for having us, and we look forward to doing some more stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's something for us to get into up here.
Oh, yeah.
Helping you guys out
Yeah, I
too,
appreciate y'all helping and having me on here. And we can come up with something else, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. We're looking forward to next year at the very least.
Yeah.
Taylor's always looking for another job. He might come up here to
Hey,
get some deer.
I'm always needing help.
That's me.
When the hunting gets good, we always need help.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm trying to recruit several part-time people, and so I can check on them and go hunt for a little bit.
That's right.
But people always say, they told me when you get into deer processing, you'll quit hunting. But I don't think if you're hunting for the right reason, I mean, you just want to go more because it's not just about killing them. It's about getting out there and getting away.
That's it.
Because some of these places you hunt are not even hunt them, there's not that many deer there, but you can get away. Maybe a cell phone don't work.
That's it.
And you can get away, so it's not just about killing them.
Yeah, that's right. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Although that's the goal when you get out there.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, we just need to get the kids involved in it, and if everybody step up and do just a little bit, you know, it'd make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. As always, please make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Share this with your hunting buddies. Talk about it at camp. It means the world to us. We've still got some moving parts behind the scenes that we are almost done with. We've been talking about it what seems like forever, but we are very, very close to launching something that we're all going to be very excited about. And hopefully you will too. But until then, we will just see you on the next one.
Peace.